Hello, welcome to Jade Coloring. My name is Liz and I am wanting to work in Moonlight Mischief today. I have a page picked out. I want to do this, it's the babysitting page. It's pretty cute. And this book has two sets of each image, and this slight variations, like this has the black background and I think the other one does not. But I've really been wanting to work in this book for a while. There's a lot of, pretty much every single page in here looks like it would be a ton of fun to color. There's the other one without the black background, which would be nice, you know, to go in and do your own, because it is a small area. So you could do a really cool background for the jungle. But I thought for today, just to make it a little easier, I'm going to work on this one. I've never colored a tiger before, so this will be, you know, interesting for me. But I have several light oranges laid out over here, and I'm going to be using Polychromos. Just kind of mixing it up. I'm really trying to use more of my pencils that I have and just kind of have fun with it. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on this page. Okay, I have terracotta, and this is kind of a really deep orange color, almost brownish. And so I'm gonna start kind of shading out some areas with this color. I've never actually colored a tiger before, so I had to look up a few reference photos because I didn't know really where to start. So just kind of laying this color down. I guess it's kind of hard to tell. I guess we'll make this like the black stripes. Kind of figuring that out. But yeah, this page is adorable. I love, I thought there were only two, but then I found this guy down here. Lots of really cute creatures to color on this page, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm being very careful not to lay down too much of this color. I guess I'll do a little bit of it kind of under his chin here. I know parts of him are going to be white, so I'm kind of trying to figure that out. A lot of his arm is orange. But yeah, I Hope everyone's been having a good week. It's Sunday when I'm recording this, and so not looking forward to work tomorrow, but at least I get to color now. As far as the paws, I think that most of them, trying to look, yeah, it looks like most of it's covered with the orange color. There might be a little bit of white. There's a lot more to this tiger than I first thought. I have kind of started on a page in this, but I haven't, of course, it's just a work in progress. There are a lot of pages in here, of course, that I want to color. Like, I love this one. I think it's super neat. And I never need an excuse to color a dragon. That one's really adorable. I just did Smuggler's Island, or Hideout, I think, in one of his other books, Tiny Houses, I think. But this one is a lot more intricate. I would love to do this one. I really like the detail on the moon and the little kind of already put stars in there for you. It must be before this. Oh yeah, this is the one that I started on. I nearly got all her clothes done, so I do plan on going back to it, of course, but I love that one too. It's just so adorable. Now to find my page again that I was working on. There we are. So now that I got sidetracked, I guess I won't. I'll get to working on this guy. Just trying to lay down all the orange color that I want. And try not to forget his tail. Kind of places behind the leaves here. Okay, now that I got terracotta down, I'm going to go in with burnt ochre. I don't know why I can't talk today. and just doing some more shading. This is a lot more of kind of a brownish shade, so it makes good for the shadow. For now, I'm just going to focus on his face. Go back in with terracotta. I'm going to go in with Indian red. I'm being very light-handed with this one. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze. So I paused it so y'all wouldn't have to listen to me sneezing. Okay. So we got that laid down, and this is a very vibrant orange. It's dark cadmium orange. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I'm gonna say it, I guess. Whoa, that is bright. I didn't expect it to be so bright, even though I just said it. Very lightly going in with this in some of these areas. Just trying to really bring out that orange color. But I'm going to start trying to do more videos like this where I just sit down and color with y'all. And of course, you know, I just like coloring in general, and starting new pages is definitely my favorite thing to do. I get very excited about starting a new page. And but one thing that, you know, I probably mentioned that after I did my coloring book collection videos, there was a ton of uncolored books, and I mean, it's not because I don't like them, it's just for some reason I get into a habit of coloring like in the same few books all the time. So I figured, you know, I'm gonna start trying to sit down and just start a new page in a book that is uncolored. And also, I'm sure I've mentioned before, I have a lot of whips, and I thought that it would be fun to work on works in progress, just to kind of encourage me to pick them up again. Because once I start coloring on them, you know, and get just a little bit closer to getting done, then I can't, it's hard for me to put them down sometimes. So it helps. This is the cadmium orange. The one we just used was the dark one. So this is the light one. Just kind of going all over. This is just kind of a base, you know, to build on as we go. It is a, you know, pretty cartoony looking cute tiger, so I'm not trying to be super particular about like the placement of my colors, just kind of using a reference image to give me an idea. Terracotta. But I really liked the orange tones in the Polychromos, so I thought it would be fun to try these out for doing his fur. I am being pretty messy with the orange, so I am getting them a little bit on the stripes that are supposed to be black, but hopefully it's not too bad, so maybe won't be able to tell once we go in there with the black color for those. A little bit of Indian red. Just kind of going around some of the edges with this color. And dark cadmium orange. I also hope that starting in books, you know, that are uncolored, some of the reason why not only is that I tend to choose books that I color a lot, like, you know, the same ones, but books that I'm comfortable with and familiar with, that like, you know, like this tiger, for example, I was pretty nervous about coloring him. Not like really nervous, but just I don't want to mess him up. But there are two of these images in here, so if I do, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's just something that, you know, I stress out about occasionally, but I'm trying to be better about. This is terracotta again. Then cadmium orange. I got black and then Payne's gray. I think that's how you say that. But I'm just going to use this dark gray and black and kind of start working on the stripes a little bit. The black does really kind of blend into that background, but I think it's fine. We'll make it work. Gonna take a break on those. I did go ahead and get out orange glaze because I have to have 100 pencils every time I do anything in burnt sienna. I just kind of want to touch it up a little bit. I feel like they have a little bit of a more kind of brown reddish tone to certain areas, and I just wanted to kind of add that in there. See how it looked. Okay. Then I'm going to take orange glaze and just kind of start adding that and kind of blending out certain areas. It's looking good. I'm going to go back in with the black color. And I could do more and spend all day on his face, but I think I'm just going to call it a day on that so far. I'll go back in later and kind of touch up certain areas. Now I'm taking the black, kind of adding that to his stripes. I'm going to try blending out the stripe just a little bit with a white Prisma. I used to have a white, of course, in my Polychromos set, but I used it or lost it. I'm not sure what happened to it, so I don't have it anymore, so I just use the white Prisma. I also have gold Faber white, and I use that too from time to time for the Polychromos. Do a little bit more black in here. And then touch up on these top stripes on his head. I think I'm liking that. It looks pretty cool. I should have put some paper behind this. One day I will learn to do it before I start. These are a pretty hard pencil, and this paper, you know, is Amazon printed, so. I think he released PDF versions, but I'm not 100% on that. I would love to have all his books on PDF, but unfortunately my printer quit working, and so I haven't been able to do any printing lately. This is orange glaze because I don't know, I just doing just a tiny bit of touching up. Okay, I'll leave it alone. I want to work on his face, and I want to color these parts of his face white, and then I think they have kind of a pinkish nose. Okay, now that I pulled out about 100 more pencils, kind of work on the nose a little bit. This is a Venetian red. I'm just slightly adding this along the edges of the nose. And then I'm going to go in with medium flesh and cinnamon. I might go in with cinnamon first. It's a little bit darker of a color. And then medium flesh. Okay, so I think the nose is pretty much done, and I'm gonna go in with some gray colors and white. This is cold gray 3, and then we have cold gray 1, and then I have this, I think it's ivory, and then I'm gonna use my Prismacolor, see how that kind of turns out. I'm just kind of going lightly over the edges of his, the white parts of the face, and kind of working my way in toward the center. Just very lightly going in with that color. Of course, I got a little bit of orange there on his face, but I don't know. I lost a thing that connects my the smaller erasers to my electric eraser, and I think that's the only eraser I have, and I don't know how to. It's not working properly, so I'm gonna have to get like a new attachment for that. Okay, I think that is enough of that gray color. I'm just going to go back in with this number 1 cold gray and just kind of adding that as well. It's a very light color, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm just kind of running it around all over here. So this is ivory. I don't want a whole lot of ivory. I'm just going to take it into a few areas before I go in with the Prisma. And I'm still just taking that ivory color. In certain areas. go back in with the darker gray and just add a little bit more of that to some of the shadowy areas. And now I'm going to try and blend it out with the white Prisma, making sure that I cleared off the black on there from when I used it with the stripes. Just lightly taking this and starting with the darkest area and working my way out. And if I need to, I'm going to go back in and do those dots kind of where the whiskers are coming out so that they'll show up more. The Prisma still works pretty well with the Polychromos, but eventually I do plan on buying the white Polychromos, I guess online somewhere. I went to a art store and they had Polychromos, but they did not have the white color in stock, so I couldn't get it, unfortunately. But this Prisma works pretty well, so. It's just, you know, the lightest hint of shading for the white part of his face. I didn't want to go in with too much gray because I didn't want it to be so dark, you know. I wanted white to really be the main focus, so I just went with a little bit of two kind of a medium gray and then a light gray. Okay, so that's pretty much, might do some touching up later. Maybe I'll color the inside of the ears kind of gray. And kind of add that in there. And then just blend them with the white Prisma. Now for the eyes, when I look at the picture of the tigers, you know, they have like really pretty golden yellow eyes. So, might be a mistake, but I thought I would try it. To just do that, if I can find my picture again. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. So I have kind of a, well, it's a brown color. I can't really make out what it is anymore, but it's 179. And I'm just going to kind of add this along the edges very lightly. But I thought it would be fun to color his eyes like a golden color. I just did like tiny little marks because it looks like there's, you know, quite a bit of variation of color in the eyes. And then my little golden colors. Faber-Castell Polychromos is my favorite ones to use for gold color things. So like making, you know, just metal items that are gold colored. So they do, they have been used a lot. But this is dark ochre. I didn't realize these were kind of hard to make out. Light yellow ochre, and then I'm just using brown ochre. So I'm going to take brown ochre and just go over where I put that dark brown color, adding that golden, kind of like a golden brown color to his eye. And then taking yellow ochre and adding that just a little bit closer to the center of his eye. And then taking the dark ochre, this is 184, and just going in the center of all that. I thought I had another yellow, but we'll just make it work with this. I like how it's turning out. Okay, got his eyes done, and I know I spent a long time on his face, but I'm gonna kind of work on the rest of his body and go from there. There are like the center of the tiger kind of looks like it's a little bit white, so I'm going to try to blend those kind of together, transitioning from orange to white, and then maybe work on some of the flowers and stuff and kind of see how far we get. This is burnt sienna. I'm just taking that like in these areas underneath his head. Okay, so terracotta. And hopefully now that I kind of have an idea what I'm doing, maybe it'll go a little bit faster. I hope. Then I'm going to go in with this bright cadmium. It's the dark cadmium orange. And just kind of adding that to parts of that sienna brown to make it a little bit brighter and more of an orange tone. This is burnt ochre. Adding that in there too. Okay, go back in with terracotta. Sorry, I hope I'm staying in frame. I actually did I filmed another video where I started a page in A Million Little Monsters by Lulu Mayo, but then somehow I had kind of moved my microphone somewhere weird, and it was just like a terrible like crinkling noise the whole time, so I just kind of gave up on that one. I'll go back in with the dark cadmium orange and just kind of adding that to everything as well. And then maybe some Indian red, just kind of to the edges of the outside of the fur here. And then burnt ochre. Wait, terracotta, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna go in with cadmium orange and just kind of trying to blend these together a little bit. And then this is orange glaze. Cadmium orange, just doing a little bit more blending. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm gonna leave that kind of, it's gonna look rough for a little while, just to kind of get an idea what I'm doing. And then I might go back in with some more colors when I have a better idea and kind of blend them out a little bit better than what they are. I'm just taking my gray colors, ivory, and then eventually the white Prisma to blend these out. But it looked to me like the center of the tiger, like underbelly, was pretty white. So that's what color I'm gonna go for. It may look weird, I don't know. But I'm having a lot of fun coloring this tiger, so. I don't know if I'll do a color along this month. It just depends. I haven't really found something that kind of looks like something I want to do. So I'm still kind of working on thinking about that, but I've gotten 2 pages finished already this month, so I'm pretty excited about that. I've been trying to really get some of them finished that I've kind of had hanging out for a while. One of them I finished, I think, has been a whip for almost a year practically, so I was very excited to have that one done. We'll go in with a little bit of the Prisma. Just adding a very light layer of it. Trying to blend those 2 different colors together, the white and the orange. And then he has like, looks like a stripe here, so I'm gonna go in with the black. A little bit of that gray color. I can't wait to have this one finished. I think it's going to look super adorable. I think he has a new book coming out soon. I don't remember the name of it though. I'm terrible at remembering those coloring book names sometimes. But I'm very excited about it, and I definitely will be getting that book. I wish I could get the PDF version, but I don't know if the end of the tail is black or white. I'm gonna have to look that up because it looks like it's different. It might be orange, and I could just be, you know, making that up. I mean, it wouldn't really matter, you know. I'm just very weird, and I'm trying to make this look somewhat like a tiger. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on his body, and then we'll work on some of the different things. You know, I really want to add some interesting colors for the greenery and the flowers. I do want to go very heavy on green because it's a jungle looking picture, but it'll be fun to add some kind of different, like purples maybe, and blues or pinks. I think that would be fun. And I think this is a toucan maybe, and I only know this because, you know, Fruit Loops. No, I'm just kidding. I think it is, and I don't know how to color those, but I'm gonna look that up as well. I'll need a reference picture for him. And then the snake, I thought about going with like a greenish brown color for him, so there's still a lot to do. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on the main like tiger here and kind of going out from there. So I finished this tiger except for the claws. I'm still debating what color to color those. I'll probably end up going with black, but I want to work on these two leaves here. I started this one. I did permanent green and grass green. For that color I wanted it to be really bright and kind of, you know, standing out. So I'll just continue to work on those. This is permanent green, and I'm just adding that kind of along the edges. I did go in and add terracotta in these little circles here. I did a few of them when I was working on the tiger, but I didn't realize that these were also part of that, so I had to go fix that. But it's pretty late here, and my dogs are kind of in the background, so I hope they're not too noisy. I was trying to film when I did this leaf, but they couldn't decide if they wanted in or out, so I got interrupted a lot working on that one. But they seem to be settled for right now. But I'm just having fun starting this page. I'm trying to be, you know, not too serious about my color choices and just kind of pick them up and go with it. Honestly, it's more fun to do that sometimes. This is grass green, and I'm just going to just finish coloring in this leaf with this color. Down the center. Looking cute. I love how everything is, you know, kind of circular. It's very nice to kind of have the contained area to work on. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this leaf. Still need to figure out how I am going to color the toucan. I still have the 3 little tigers to color on this page, but I wanted to take a little bit of a break and work on some of the greenery of the jungle scene in this picture. I'm very excited for, I think his new book is called Lost and Found. I've been kind of seeing the post on Instagram. I'm definitely going to be getting that book. quickly become one of my favorite coloring book artists. So it's one of those that I really like to get every book that they come out with. I still need to get the pirate one, I think, and I think there's a dragons one, kind of a dragon themed one that I don't have. Okay, so grass green. Just gonna go color in the rest of the spots we have left. I definitely want to incorporate more colors than just greens for the leaves. So it's going to be fun coming up with those color combinations for that. I'm still going to use a lot of green, but kind of break it up with other colors on top of that. I think it'll look cool. Okay, I don't think I see any more leaves like that, at least for right now. I usually say that and then later on I find some more, but I think that's good on those. And I think I'm going to do this thing here. It's like a flower leaf, and I don't know why, but I envisioned kind of like a magenta color on the outside. So I'm going to do the outer kind of leaves or petals, whatever they may be, with this color. Just kind of get my colors mapped out on this page. I've been having a really good coloring month so far. I am filming this at like 2 different times, so I may have already said this, but I think I have about 3 finished pages so far for this month. And I hadn't planned on coloring in a so you can tell it's like R.J. Hampson book this month, but I wanted something, you know, I don't know, I find his books to be a little bit easier for me. It's like a really good book that I gravitate to when I want something a little bit relaxing, and I just feel like I don't really have to think about them as much. And I've really been coloring a lot of portraits and stuff, so I wanted a little something different from that. So I'm gonna do these ones as well while I got this out. I had a pre-order, and I think I had ordered this book like months ago. It was I think it was Victorian fantasy book. It was a Japanese released book, but they also did a release here in America, and I've forgotten all about it, and when I got home I was like surprised to find a coloring book in my mailbox. So that was exciting. I had forgotten all about it. Really like that magenta color in this Polychromos set. It's a very rich color. This one looks a little bit different. It has like a middle part. I don't know, maybe I'll color that magenta as well. Yeah, I'm gonna color it magenta too. This one over here. Okay. I don't know what color I want to... I thought I had a color picked out already, but I think I accidentally put it back up when I was putting the orange colors away. But, so I might come back to that in a minute. So sorry for kind of hopping around, but this is Purple Violet. And I wanted the center of these sleeves here to be purple, so I'm going to add that in to the kind of middle part. And I'm going to color the leafy part like a kind of a darker olivey, like an olive greenish or much darker green color. Really trying to make this page turn out like really colorful. We got some of those over here on the other side. Okay, I think I got most of them. So this is pine green, and I'm going to kind of do the rest of this part of the plant with this color, and then maybe a lighter green color for a little bit of a highlight. Then see how it looks if I go in with leaf green and kind of add a little light layer of that. Might do a little bit more shading with pine green. And then go back in with leaf green. I think it's looking pretty cute. And then just do the same for the rest of them. I might start out with a little bit more of the pine green on the rest of them and just add the slightest touch of the leaf green in there. Go over more of the center with the white space that we left with the pine green, with very light hand on that. I just want it to be a little darker than how that one ended up. I might go in later and try and touch that up a little bit. Kind of really focusing on the center of the leaf and the outer edges of this leaf to make those really dark, and then go lightly in the center of those two areas. And then I'm going to go in with the leaf green and just see if that kind of makes it work a little bit better. Yeah, I think I like that much better. This has like a lot more of a depth of that green, darker green color, and less of the lighter green. But you know, sometimes it takes a few to really get going and kind of figuring out what you want to do. definitely a working process. That might be the same kind of leaf as well. Looks a little bit different, but I'll go ahead and do the same thing. And then leaf green to kind of lightly blend those two together. And I might go in with a lighter purple to kind of touch up the middle part. And just to kind of get the full picture of what I want to do with this, I'm taking the light magenta and kind of going over the middle part of this plant here and just kind of adding that in those. And then I wanted to go in with dark cadmium yellow and then just kind of go in the center of that, just kind of making it up as I go along. I think that might be part of it, I don't know, it's a little bit hard to tell. And this one's a little bit different, so I'll just color those in completely with a light magenta and then kind of go in with the light cadmium yellow, dark cadmium yellow. I'm going to see what it looks like if I just take this and lightly go over the center of that dark magenta. And then the yellow is very bright looking. over here. Okay, and the little kind of leaves that are kind of working their way in between all this, I wanted to go in with dark green. It's a 264, and I'm just going to lightly kind of go in with that darker green color. And then I'm going to use the light Thalio green 162 and just kind of add that to the rest of the leaf. I just wanted that to be really light colored. I think these are really pretty greens, so, and I'm probably going to make my way through the entire green section. But there's a lot of jungle leaves and stuff to do, so. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I think this is where I'm going to stop this video. I've had a lot of fun starting in this book and picking this page out to color. I've really enjoyed coming up with different color combinations for all the jungle plants in this one, and the tiger was a lot of fun to do. But just thank y'all for hanging out with me as I kind of start this page, and if I do some more work on it, you know, I might go ahead and film it. We'll just see. But until next video, bye.